Welcome to TradingLounge and the Indices. We'll look at the S&P and the Nasdaq and the Russell, the DAX, the FTSE and the Aussie. And starting with the S&P on the weekly chart here, we're basically working from wave 4 here to wave 5 up here. So let's just open this up a little bit. We've got two bullish counts for this. So from wave 4 to wave 5 here. The first one is that we have wave 1 and 2 here, and then going up for wave 3. And in wave 3 here would have 5 waves. So we'll have a little 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And then 4 and 5. This particular count here would have wave 1 further up here. So this wave 1 would be further up here and would be looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this wave 1. So let's just have a look at that on the, I got it here, I think. We'll have a look at this one here. So this would be this one here. And this one here would have this moving up here. Let's just do this roughly. So, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a diagonal, and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to finish that off. And then we'll have a sharp move back down, probably around the 5,500. Take that with a pinch of salt. We'll work through all that. Could be deeper, could be shallower, but that would be the pattern. So all we really need to do is look at these 5 waves up here and then take caution at that particular point. And this is the same for the bullish count. So if we were looking at the bullish count, we'll do the same thing as well. We would also have look for caution as well. So in this count here, let me just go over the count first. So the count in this case would be 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up for wave 3 here, and wave 4 here is a very sort of stock standard sort of count, and then up for wave 5 at that point. So all we need to do here is that currently we've got this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So the same thing applies. What we can do is we've got 1, 2, and we'll go up for 3 and 4 and 5 here. So let me just borrow these here. I don't need that one. I'll just copy that one. So we can put wave 3 here. This is what we're going to be doing to handle this situation. We'll make any changes a little bit later. So in this case here, obviously this is going to be too short for wave 3 compared to wave 1 here. So what we would do a little bit later is we would readjust this. Now how we would readjust this depends on what the structure would look like a little bit further up here. But just as a bit of a long shot here, let's just put this here. Let's just remove these dudes and this one. So then we'll put wave 1 here, and we'll be coming back from this low here to this high here would come back, it'd come back 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, all that sort of stuff. But would end up just having an ABC pattern here. I'm probably drawing this too big here, by the way, and then push up here. So basically, we've either got, when we get to this point here, we'll either have this wave 1 or this wave 1. And of course, this wave 1 will take us back to, what did I say, about the 5-5 area, possibly, but something have to work. So in the meantime, we can enjoy ourselves in just making some pocket money, moving up to this point here. But when we get to this point here, we need to be out of the market, and then we need to just observe this situation. When we also get closer in this 5th wave here, we'll have a look at some of the stocks as well, as we always do. Meta Platforms is one of them that's leading to the upside, so we'd kind of want to see that, and some of the weaker stocks, if there's going to be sort of weakness coming to the market. So those weaker stocks weaker stocks such as Microsoft could drag the market down even further and help us with this, this wave 2 to come into play over here for this. So I know where we are at the moment. I just don't know what we're going to get over here at this stage. So that's something that we just need to work through, unless we see any sort of sort of something in the structure that would sort of tell us that we're on the right track. And something like, if this is wave 2 here, and this is wave 2 here, and this is wave 2 here, then we can expect this being the third of the third of the third here for this to move up quite strongly. Now, it is moving along quite strongly, isn't it, at the moment? So that's something that's sort of, valuable, and we'll just keep a bit of an eye on that and see how we go. We've also got CPI figures month on month and year on year coming out in the next session, plus unemployment claims. So that CPI figures will obviously affect some of the smaller indices and certain stocks, the Russell and so on. More so, but anyway, that's the situation. So all our focus is just getting these 5 waves here. Okay, so with that in mind, we'll just go to the 20,000 tick area here. So so this is the little 5 waves here and the 1 and 2 here that I just talked about. So I'm going to go in closer now and look at it on the 1,000. And on the 1,000 here, a little bit messy. I'll just get a bit more data in here, and so we've got this top here that's going to be 1 or 3 or 2 or 4 here. That's the thing. If it's 4 here, then it's going up for wave 5 over here. Well, I'll just put that in there. So wave 5 of wave 1. So we're going to have that, or we're going to have this as wave 1 over here. So they're the two things here, but we're just tracking this 5 waves here. Now this is the low on the S&P here because of the futures market. On the SPY and the other indexes and so on, you'll end up having this as the low over here. So, but we don't trade the actual index. So, so E-minis and futures. Oh well, E-mini is a little futures contract. Derivatives, CFDs, options, yada yada yada. So, we unfortunately have to trade the more difficult one, but so this leaves us with 1 and 2 here, and then we're going up to wave 3. Okay, so in this wave 3 here, this particular move here can be counted in different ways as well. There is a case to put wave 1 over here. So in fact, there's 3 different ways to count this to the upside here. So if you've got a different count, it doesn't really matter. The main point is that we still need to go higher, and in this instance here, we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4. This wave 4 will pull back to, so those CPI figures in the next session, and the Asian session and all that sort of stuff. So we should see something like this here. We should see some sort of classic trading levels pattern play out across this level here, and then wave 5 to the upside here, be something like this. So this is, you'll need to, if you've got we've got this position and this position, you may have other positions and whatnot, but when you get to the 5-8 here, the 5,000 is not the issue. It's the 8 here, the 800. 8 is the third strongest number, 158. So we can expect this market to this number to grab the minds of traders at this particular point and create this these 4s and 5s here. So this is a different. There's with the trend, there's beginning, middle, and end, and this is the middle here between 2 and 3 here. This is the middle between this 2, blue 2 and 3 here. This is the middle of the bigger trend, and this is the middle of that one. So the beginning, the middle, and the end. The other point here too is that when we talk about number 8 here, we can talk about group 1 above, 1, 2, and 3, and then group 2 below here. That will be the swing range, and you can see that it's already setting up for that support there across these levels here. So you don't really want to be making any decisions in here. These wave 4s here, these are the ones that wave 3s give you the money, wave 4s take the money. So you want to make any decisions before you get to this number. Well, we're here now, so make a plan, Sam. So you either hold through this wave 4 and you know the swing range for that you need to deal with, handle rather, and and we can look to exit over here somewhere for this, and this is the one we'll be exiting from. You might want to take some money off the top here, but be careful what you do here. This is, if you start trading in here, then you need to use smaller position sizes because like I say, the market gods will giveth and taketh on those numbers. Okay, so that's the S&P, and Come over to the Nasdaq, and the same thing here as well. We've got this wave 4 here, and in this case we've got wave 1 and 2, and we can go up for wave 3 over here. That would leave us with this count of 1 and 2 here, right? I'll just remove that for a moment, and that would leave us with wave 3 over here and 4 and 5. So that's a possibility, this one here. The other possibility is that we look at this up here as wave 1 here. We bring wave 2 in over here, and this becomes 2 over here, and this becomes 3 here, and this becomes 4 here, and then we come into wave 5 here to make this wave 1, and we have a sharper wave 2 here. So that's possible as well, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But once again, we just look at this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and we'll see what we get. We either come back here for some sort of correction and then move up, or we're going to come down deeper in here for this. There's probably good support around the 19 here, and then we'll move up at that point. So they're the two counts, okay? We'll just stay with what we know in this little space here. So we've been working on the 20,000 here, and so this is, don't worry about the trades at the moment. We'll go to a smaller time frame and talk about those, but basically 2 or 4, 1 and 3 up here, and 1 and 2, and then going up for wave 3 here. Yeah, so we've got 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Like I said, this could be counted in 3 different ways. I probably need to do a little bit more work on that, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. We're still going higher, but at the same time you can see that we're at these old highs here, and we're also at a little group 1 here as well. So 1, 2 and 3 here. So it's going to take a while to get support on top of this particular number here. So let's just go in and have a look at these trades here now on the 1000 tick. Just get in a bit more data here. So that's our 1 and 2 here, and then we're going up for that third wave over here. So let me just expand this up here. So this will be wave 3, 4 and 5 up here. So yeah, so that will be that wave 5 here, or we could also look at this a little bit differently and look at it as a wave 1 here and have a pullback here and go up again. So we're going to be prepared so we can get lucky. Yeah, so we've been talking about having positions close here on all of these levels here, but in reality the way to do that is that we look for a classic trading levels pattern. So we're looking for not so much this one, but that's okay. We're more so looking for this one here. So waiting, if this is a level, you wait for the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some sort of correction. Here we go, put a trigger here, then a trigger here, then a trigger over here, getting closest to this number as possible, because you basically want new high. You want to be buying new highs on the closest largest number as a support, and this will be tested support at that point. So in this case you would have gone over to this top here, then down to this top, and you should be over here somewhere. You can get a bit cheeky and do these sorts of things. Over here, this first high above the level, don't chase that, wait. It didn't give you a second, we could have gone on that one, still didn't trigger you. But over here, classic trading levels pattern again, the arrival, reaction, first high above the level, ABC correction. So you could have been over here or here on this one. The same over here as well, and the same we'll do on this one over here. So I'll just leave them out of the way here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can plonk that in here, and this can be here. This will be here, here, and here, something like that. So normally at the number 3 here, because number 3 is after number 8, 1, 5, 8, and 3. So you can expect a bigger correction here. And this is really important because this number here, the 3 here, will sever any larger order pulls from this one here. So yeah, that's why back over here, when it hit over here before, it didn't get this level as support. If it did, we could have gone long up to number 5, but it's not the case. That's where we are at this point. So how you handle the risk or your exposure on these here, I'll leave that up to you. You know, short-term traders can take all the money off the table at this particular number here and wait, and then move back in at this point, or you can stay in or take part profit, all of those sort of things. If Friday closes firmly, and I know it's only coming into Thursday today, if if Friday closes firmly, then we should be, that momentum should be there for Monday as well. Okay, so that's that. We've got the Russell here. So this is a wet soggy bag, this one here. So it's probably a good case for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, and then the A, the B and the C wave testing here and then pushing up. So having this wave 1 over here, so to speak. Yeah, and it may not go very far at all. It may just be probably giving it too much credit. So look, it'll probably get a bit volatile on the CPI figures, which I imagine will be okay at this point for this market, because we need that fifth wave there. So it'll tell me those CPI figures will be positive. But yeah, so if I can just remove these dudes here, this is more likely the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending in that particular way, something of that nature. But look, let's face it, it's obviously not the best market to trade, and if you wanted to trade the CPI figures, you'll also have to have your order already set up. So you could do that at 21, 221, not 220, because all the other orders will be sitting there. Whole numbers attract the majority of people. It's a nice way to say it. So that's that, and then we come over to the DAX. And it's the same situation here. We're on a weekly chart here for the DAX. So we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then we've got this wave 1 and 2 here. So we could look at this building up into the third wave here, or we could put wave 1 up here, and the same sort of story as well here with, like we're doing with the S&P and all of the rest of it. But the takeaway here is that you can see from this big correction here, right, that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the fifth wave, aren't we? So what we could take away here, is that, well, there's got to be further upside here. Now, how this, one of the interesting things here, I guess, is that I'll just check this. I'm a bit of a simple sort of dude. Okay, so wave 3 is just a little bit. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Jumping around like that. So they're about the same size, really. But the wave 3 is a bit shorter. So that means wave 5 could be shorter still. But sometimes, the other thing with Elliott, if wave 1 and wave 3 are the same size, then wave 5 can have an extension in it. But it's probably not what the rest of the world is telling us at this point. So it would be, and we've got the 20,000 here as well, and we're seeing what the 20,000 has been doing to the Nasdaq. So it's likely that we're going to have a shorter wave structure here as well for this. So anyway, all of that said, I'll just go to the I didn't mean to go here first, just wait a second. I'll just go to the daily chart first. So this is the daily chart. We've got that. The FTSE's a bit like too. The FTSE's got this particular pattern, and the FTSE's got this, but FTSE didn't make a new high. Sort of waiting for it. But yeah, so obviously, we've got a correction here, whichever way you want to label that. And then we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then we've got this move up here that we're working with at the moment. So we'll get to sort of understand that. But it's interesting at the 1900 here that it was the old tops over here. So really, it's just coming back and sitting on them. So it's kind of hit it twice here. So it's done its job. So it's kind of ready to go now. So buying new highs, that was sort of our thing. Within that smallest world there. So let's just go a little bit further in here to the 20k here. So yeah, so it's the same sort of thing here. We could put wave 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave, or we could go 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. and then that would be wave 1 at that point, and we come back to wave 2 over here. This will just follow the S&P. Hopefully they're on point. Sometimes they can be a couple of weeks out or a week out, all these sort of things, but they normally sort of fold back in, but that's sort of where we are. All we're interested in doing really at this point in time is tracking 5 waves into a new high here, and we'll see what that delivers at that point. And when we get up here, we'll check out, we'll see where all the banks are on that side of this fence and all the tech stocks, and try to get some consensus of what the market is doing, because they all kind of move together in their own little way. And we're going to go into the 1000 tick area here and pick it up from this area here. So after that little long haul story, we've either got this as 2 or 4 here, and we want to be making a new high above here. So we need 5 waves up here. So we can see we've got this first impulse wave here, and wave 1 and 2. We can see that this one's not finished. I can see that this is probably, I could go 1 and 2 here. I could go 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I'll have to check that out. But we've got that's coming into 4 there. So that will also be at the sort of 61, 50, 60%. That will be the other little caveat here. Yeah, it's right in 61.8% here, the little pocket, 62 to 65. So yeah, it'll just spend a little bit of time there. I mean, and then once we get those sort of things, that's important, but we always gravitate to the closest largest number. So that'd be the 300 here, the 300 of the 19 here. So that's a group 1 at that point. The next number to the upside, we've got 4, but it's really 5 is this, second strongest number. So the Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 here. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, 60 or 650. I'll put that in there. Close enough for the time being. 72, close enough there. A bit off, but that's okay. I'll just get it in there in some rough way. So yeah, we've got to make a new high here. And then we could have a top in here. We could have it as wave 1, or we could have it as something else. We can go further up. So it'll be interesting to see how it sort of goes. You can bring your stop up to break even at this point. I'll put it above it there somewhere. That should be safe at that point. Yeah, I just don't think this is finished up here for this at the moment, but the dance will be across the 300 here, so it'll be probably, I don't know, be something like this anyway. It'll spend some time here. The 3 really holds them for a while, What you can also do as well is just obviously grab the low of this and the high of this and the 38.2%. So that brings us into, if I take that down a bit here, let's not get too excited, 330, that will do the job. So that will leave so it could come back to, the worst case scenario is it can come back to the 19.2 here. So that would be, let's just make this simple here. The worst that it could do is come back here. But it will spend some time here. Wave 2 was simple with a zigzag, a 535 structure, so wave 4 was likely to be complicated at that point. And we need to get up here, we need to make a new high up here, But this is, yeah. Anyway, we're interesting to see how all this sort of plays out. I mean, the 5 waves is not a problem. I mean, the other side to this here too is that this is only 3 waves up. So technically, it could be an ABC pattern to the upside, but it's not what the S&P is showing us as the S&P breaks into, because the S&P is taking out this top here now. Do you know what I mean? So we can really rule out this. But I'm just saying, I mean, just like to keep things black and white as possible. Then we come over to the FTSE, and I don't know the count here. It's a bit like Microsoft. I don't know the best way to count it. So, I just don't know at this point. Anything could happen here. Obviously, if the other markets are going to be going up for a week, then we're going to be pushing up here. Indicators look good at this point. All that sort of stuff. So we talked about, it's got the same pattern as all this is the same as the DAX, except that the DAX is pushed up here on this one. The DAX has got this weird pattern, and it's got this and this. I memean, this could be, to bring this into the same space, I could go 1 and 2 here, or 1 and A, B, C for 2 here, but I really don't know. But what I do know, what we talked about yesterday, was that we would be trading long off this low here. So if we could get this one to break even, that would be a start. So we'll just plonk that in there. This will be a little 1, 2 here, and obviously a little 4 here for this. You may or may not be in on this one, but that's okay. And I was sort of thinking something like this, It'll spend some time up here. You might want to, because this one's a little bit of an unknown one, you might want to, take some money off the table at this point. Not overdo it. We'll see. If we get support on here, we'll have a look what the structure is, and we'll take it from that point. Then we come over to the Aussie market. So without going into the bigger picture here, we can either the same thing as well as 1 or 3 here, and 2 or 4 here, and then looking for this to move to the upside. So looking at this as wave 1 here. This pattern's very much like the Nasdaq and the S&P, and then we've got wave 2 here with, now we've got this ABC pattern here, and we can look at this as being impulsive at this point. So once again here you can see we've got 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 3, 4, 5. So there'll be a little bit of that little wave 1 can just come in over here, and let me just clean this up here a little bit. Whoops a daisy, I didn't mean to get rid of that level, so put that back in here. So I'm thinking that there should be woulda, coulda, shoulda. There should be something like this here. I'm just trying to get it to about the right size. Should be something like that. So you want to wait for that top and then wait for the second high here. Thursday in Australia's got a habit of opening higher and then trading lower. So just be a bit mindful of that. And you don't have to bet the house on this one here. Just keep it quite small. We'll see if we can build it to the upside, because I am a little bit concerned about the bank. So when we look at the CBA here, just as an example, I haven't had time to look at the other ones. So, I mean, I could go an A and a B and a C wave here and bring, this in over here, so to speak. But there's also the possibility of the A, the B, and the C wave, another move down here. So that's sort of, but this here looks 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know. I'll check with Shane, see what he's got. He spent more time on it. But we called in this low the other day, and we're looking for a rally, and we're getting the rally. So once this takes a little bit of form here, we might be able to sort of, see that go further up at that point. But I do suggest looking at the other banks for that pattern. So I'm just a bit worried about this here. But it seems to be, all things said and done, it's really about this number here. And the question to ask is that, is it support yet? It's been through, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern. We've got sort of half a silly looking wave 1 up here, and we've got a wave 2 here now. So it's kind of getting there, isn't it? The pattern is a classic trading levels pattern. It fits with Elliott. It's starting to sit here nicely now on all of this. It's it's getting there. There should be a run here, and the idea, if it does push up here, is to try to build in with smaller positions on number 2 here, and then the number 3 here will take a little bit more time. Here, the 8233 here, that will take a bit more time to build on top of that, because it needs to come back and test these as well. So it'll be a bit of fluffing around there. So just observe it, be mature about it, rather than a young blood and start pushing buttons and stuff. But once it sits on that number and you've got a little classic trading levels pattern that should have popped to 5, then it will free itself from the getting support on this 30 here, the 230. It will free itself from this and it'll be able to move up at that point. So I feel like we're close. We're chipping away at the old block, but we don't have any results just yet on it, unfortunately. But stay with it, because I think it's there. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.